This is the Big O Show.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins #1.
Oh, we're ready to rock and roll. It's a beautiful thing on a beautiful Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. How can you not be, right?
I was going to say, everybody better be doing great.
Well, not really, but what are you going to do? It's one of those days where the negative now starts to crap all over the positive as the breaking news comes across the wires. Xavier Howard has been arrested on domestic violence charges. And so this is one of those situations where it's disappointing. It's depressing. It's there's so many ways because you're coming off such a high yesterday where you get to beat the Patriots where you never beat them. You haven't beaten them in 700 years. And so, by the way, I don't see us live on YouTube. I'm not sure, but it's not coming out there, the live show. So, anyway, yesterday, I mean, this whole thing, you have, a great moment where you beat the Patriots and you're set, pretty much. I mean, this is kind of, yesterday was the nail in the coffin of why Brian Flores was hired. And the first move that Chris Grier had to make as a general manager right now looks like a home run. I know he needs another year to kind of officially prove that this isn't a fluke or anything like that. But it's clearly right now a home run hire. There's no other way to really phrase this thing. And so when you look at this team, and I think do we have anything going on? I don't know. I'm wondering if it's there. I found it because it's got me right there with the Greta shirt. So we're set. But anyway, so it's just weird. It didn't come out on the top. It was like on the second
You know
row.
what? Like I said, everybody's home, man. Wi-Fi, the kids,
It has nothing to do with it. It's just
a little
weird
delay.
that the box was not at the top of when you open up the channel. It's usually at the top, so I can then hit it and then bring up the chat board. You know what I mean? And so now when I bring it up, it was like in the second row where it was live, and it was weird. That's why I didn't find it, because I was looking
for it in another spot.
at the top.
On
at the top,
YouTube, yeah.
on the top left corner where it normally is. Really, really odd.
Throwing you a curve, man.
Yeah, it threw me a complete curve. I'm going, where the hell are we? Because I know it. The thing says it's live.
Just making sure you're awake on Monday before New Year's.
Yeah, man. That's crazy stuff. So that you have a moment where you have solidified the hire. The guy goes into New England, and like I told you yesterday on the postgame show, dude, you hired somebody that knows this guy better than anybody else. And he walked into that stadium. I think Bill Belichick took his timeouts in the first half because he didn't want to risk embarrassing himself anymore. He needed to go into the locker room to make the adjustments. I really believe that's what happened yesterday. Like, he kind of conceded the half and said, because they had time. It made no sense for them to do what they did, but the fact that that showed you the respect they had for the Dolphins already, that they feared making another mistake with short amount of time. And then it almost to the point of, well, we don't want to give them any more ammo or even a bigger lead or anything like
The
that.
Patriots never back down. If they've got 30, 40 seconds, they're going after you.
At least 3 more points.
Yes.
Gotskowski comes out.
Exactly. They always have a quality field goal kicker.
Yeah,
They've
always.
gone through 4 or 5 of them this year.
No, I know, but
and it doesn't matter.
Normally they would
Yes.
whip out Gostkowski on your ass and 53-yarder and then boom and done. But they obviously didn't feel they had their thing. And so my point is, we have this crescendo, right? We have this moment. And now we're reveling in the moment yesterday. We're going into it today, and now we get this Howard news. And I can read the story for you guys, obviously, and what's going on with Howard. But it's sad that this is what's going on now, and this is what we have to talk about. And it's very disturbing because this is a player that is so important to the Dolphins' success. And we're talking about a guy that is a shutdown corner.
On the roster right now, would you say he's probably, with Parker, our top players?
Yes. He is the top player because he's proven it year in and year out, whereas Parker just did it this year. He is the most important player on your team. And now you've got this, where he's arrested on battery charges for pushing his fiancée during a fight over a purse. Okay? Dolphins cornerback Xavier Howard was arrested late Sunday after police say he pushed his fiancée into a glass wall at their home during a heated argument about a purse. Football player whose full name is Xavier Dwayne Howard Areola is being held at Broward County Sheriff's Office main jail on 1 count of domestic battery, according to Davie Police. His fiancée, who has been living with the football player more than 5 years, has 3 children with him, told police she got into a verbal argument with Howard, 26, about a recently purchased purse she wasn't aware about. The argument got physical. Howard, 6 foot, 200 pounds, grabbed her both arms and pushed her back up against a mirrored glass wall in the hallway of their bedroom, the police report states. Howard then let her go, causing her to fall to the floor on her right arm, landing on a medically assisted walking crutch, which was on the floor. I would imagine that's his crutch from his knee surgery, and I guess the knee's pretty strong. One of the top support braces of the crutch was broken. Officer Pedro Perez wrote in the report, I inspected the mirror glass wall, which wasn't damaged, but smudge marks were seen. His fiancée had visible scratches, redness on her wrists and forearms, redness of an abrasion on her right elbow from falling on the crutches, according to the police. Howard, a former second-round pick out of Baylor, is considered the Dolphins' best player, shutdown corner, who had 7 interceptions and made the Pro Bowl in 2018, yada, 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 rewarded with a 5-year, $75 million contract. Howard now is at risk of league suspension to begin next season. The length of the suspension would be a direction of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Howard told officers he had knee pain from a recent surgery and was taken to Westside Regional Hospital before being booked to Broward Sheriff's main jail, where he was being held. So he had knee pain in the surgery on his way to jail. Howard's the second Dolphin player arrested on domestic battery charges in the past 2 months. The Dolphins released running back Mark Walton. Guaranteed they won't be releasing X. And, of course, it says, we are aware of the situation and currently gathering information. The Dolphins said in a statement, we will have no further comment at this time.
We should be on our highest point. Beating the Patriots, not since 2008, and this just totally kills it.
It's just, to have all of this now, it's just so disappointing. You know, I'm feeling good about the Dolphins. I've had a blast this season following this team and watching the growth. And to me, I've gotten more excited about the future of the Dolphins every week that goes by. You know, I unlike the tankers and the negative Nellies that don't really see the big picture. You know what I mean? I'm polar opposite of this. Every week, I get more excited about the Dolphin future. Every single week, because you got a coaching staff. And you got a front office that's going to find players. And so if they're going to be able to develop players, get the max out of them, and they can walk into Foxborough in a game that, dude, the Patriots needed that game badly. I mean, badly. This was going to be 10 straight years of them having a bye week. They snapped that streak. Those guys now have to go and play in the divisional round, and they're not that good. They're not as good as they've been in the past. So this is a concern for them that they have to do something like this. And you went in there and you took something from the Patriots that they needed badly. You know how hard that is? And here's the twisted part about all of this. Do you realize, okay, I've been telling you guys that Vegas, April in Vegas, is going to be that watershed moment that catapults the Dolphins to start being a good team again, to great team, to being respected, right? What if I tell you it just happened yesterday? Think about that. Because Brady's getting older. He's looking older. What, did you see him in that press conference after the game? I mean, he looked like a president after a second term. Okay? I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And he looked broken down. The first time, there are times where they've lost, and he's stoic, and he's damn be all this stuff. But yesterday, he was humbled, man. And the Dolphins may have humbled them a lot more than what you think, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I talked about this at the beginning of the season, that the coach did something that a lot of other coaches have not done. When Josh McDaniels left, or when Romeo Crennel left, or even when Mike Vrabel left, they couldn't take multiple coaches with them. And I went over that point, and I said, is there something about this guy? Because he was able to take a couple of coaches with him from the Patriots. And you've got 3 former Patriot coaches here. They got their asses kicked in the first game because they didn't even know their players themselves. But by the end of the season, they knew their players, they knew their strengths and their weaknesses, and they were able to take whatever they had by the end of the season, which, by the way, should not be better than what you had at the beginning of the season, talent-wise. Should be worse after all the injuries and transactions and all that, okay? You should be worse. And yet, he got what he had, walked into Foxborough, and he took away from his mentor the most important victory of the season from the Patriots. Because this is the most important victory of the season for the Patriots. They don't get a week off, and now they got to play in the divisional round. That's not going to be a lot of fun for the Patriots. So listen, when you look at this moment, okay, here's a guy that knows the Patriots, knows Belichick well, is able to beat him in his first year as head coach of the Dolphins with a fraction of the talent and experience that the Patriots have, right? And that's why when it's pretty amazing to see this whole thing develop, that maybe, and like I told you, Belichick walked off the field at halftime, and I think it's because I can't fool the guy on the other side. He knows me. He knows how I think. He knows what I'm going to try to do here at the end of this game. He's already kind of prepared, and he's been getting to us. I mean, when Nate Brooks is knocking down passes, things are going pretty well for you. You know what I'm saying? And maybe yesterday was the watershed moment for the Dolphin Nation. It's going to be interesting to see what develops from the draft and headed into next season, because it's impossible for any Dolphin fan not to have way more confidence in what's going on with this team now. You got to feel it. I mean, think about it. And what you did yesterday was so important. It was a message that Wanstead could never send. It's a message that Joe Philbin could never send. Adam Gase could never send. Tony Sperano could never send. There was no gimmicks yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't live off a Wildcat gimmick. No. You went in there mano a mano, and you beat them straight up. That's scary. That's something scary for them. And trust me, it's not just Belichick swallowing his timeouts and sticking his tail between his legs and walking in the locker room at halftime. It's Tom Brady's look at the end of that game. Like, oh crap. We are not that good anymore. We are vulnerable. We're so vulnerable, an expansion team with our former coaches took advantage of us. I'm just saying. I thought it was going to be the draft, the watershed moment for the Dolphins. Okay? You guys know nobody's been more positive about these changes, the people that are in charge, than I have. Nobody called it like I did, actually. I'm the one that said to put Chris Grier in charge, actually. The only one that said it. So, obviously, I'm going to be positive about something that I wanted in the first place, just like Devontae Parker. I just think that everything's become, we're fast-forwarding things. And in this microwave society, you guys are getting, I have the patience of waiting. I told you guys, 3-4 years, maybe, when you become a playoff. You nutbags that had him there by 3, I think you're going to do it. I think you're going to do it. I really do. I don't know about next year because you have so many changes and so many things you got to add. But next year, you're going to be flirting with 500. There's no doubt in my mind. You got coaches here, man. Yeah, what you did yesterday was coaching. Coaching gets these guys motivated to play. Coaching and front office picks the right attitudes, the right players to be around each other, to support each other. Look at the Heat, right? You take the Whitesides out and you take the Dion Waiters out. Wow, the culture really changes, right? Everybody's playing for each other. That's what you saw yesterday with the Dolphins. I told you guys in the post-game show yesterday, I gave you an example. And for those of you that haven't caught up to the post-game show, you should listen to it. It's really the only post-game show you should listen to in town. I mean, it's the only one that brings the emotion and brings what you need overall. I mean, seriously. So it's what they do on radio locally here is, too many politics. It's not what you need as a listener because everybody's got their hands tied. And if not, they get fired. And if not, they'll get released or they'll get shipped out. So here we don't have the politics. Here we don't worry about it. We call it like we see it, whether it's positive or negative. And listen to it. But yesterday, we gave you the example. Because immediately, the Dolphins win, and I get that section of fans that tell me, wait a minute, man, winning doesn't help us, and winning is going to make us lose draft position, which, by the way, did not yesterday. They stayed at 5. It's awesome. They won. They made life miserable for the Patriots, and they stayed at 5 in the draft. So, awesome. But what I told you yesterday was, I told some people, I said, don't worry about draft position, okay? And losing and wanting to lose is not really what you should want as a fan. Example, Miami Heat, they work hard. They're smart. They try to find character people. And when you work hard and you work smart, you end up with Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway and Dan Marley and Brian Grant and Eddie Jones and Shaq and Bosch and Mason and just LeBron and so on and so forth, and now Jimmy Butler. When you get lazy and you want to cut corners and you start placing people on the IR and you start tanking, man, you ended up with Michael Beasley. Interesting how that works out, huh? You end up with Michael Beasley the year you tried to tank. Oh, I guess it didn't really work out for you. But you've been in cap hell the last couple of years. You made some terrible decisions. But with hard work, intelligence, you unearthed Duncan Robinson. You unearthed Kendrick Nunn. And you find a gem in the middle of the round. What was it, 12, 13 for Tyler? You find you didn't have to take the number one, number two. You didn't need I mean, we all want John Moran or Zion, but what I'm saying is you didn't have to have one or two that those were considered the can't miss picks, right? Looks like you can't miss with Tyler because he can't miss from three. Ask the Sixers. Hard work, intelligence, dedication. That's what the Heat have been their entire lives, and it's always paid off. The one time they got lazy, the one time they did the little tanking crap that you idiots want to keep bringing up, it bit them in the ass. So think about it. And the other time they got lazy, they ended up with Shabazz Napier. Oh, LeBron wants him. Oh, dude, don't worry about the player. Worry about yourself. You are the Heat. You know what the hell you're doing. Don't worry about what LeBron wants. Do what you want to do. That's what's paid off for you for 20-something years. So the Dolphins, everything will work out. Like I told you, it's not who you draft. It's not where you draft. It's who you draft. That's all. So instead of Eddie Moore, you pick Anquan Bolden, and instead of Jamar Fletcher, you pick Drew Brees, and everything changes. You don't have to have the number one pick. You can get a player that can help you in the late first round, seconds, third, fourth, fifth rounds. Undrafted Preston Williams. Rod Smith, who is, I'm not sure if Rod made it to the Hall of Fame or he's a borderline Hall of Famer. Rod Smith for the Broncos was drafted in the 12th round. One of the franchise's great wide receivers of all freaking time. Okay? Anybody would love to have the career Rod Smith had on their football teams. That guy was a hell of a player. 12th round pick. It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. It's always been that way. So calm down, relax. Okay? Miami's at 5, and they'll get themselves a hell of a player. But what they may have is a hell of a coach. And a coach that might have something figured out in the division. Because that's what you may have seen on Sunday. Okay? I'm not telling you it's the passing of the torch. I'm just telling you that the guy on the other side of the field now says, uh-oh, I got to respect that guy over there now. Because he knows what the hell I'm doing. I mean, when the old tight end, what's his name, Watson, yesterday, he drives the guy 9 yards downfield. I mean, give me a break if that's not, a penalty right there. And then they pulled the flag, and Flores was like, no, I've seen that before. I know. I've been a part of that sideline. I know what they're doing. I'm challenging this. And obviously, the penalty was called because there should have been a penalty on Watson. You kidding me, dude? That's a pick if you've ever seen a pick. It's just a crafty pick because you're not picking directly. You're picking with the block, but you're still picking. Or you could call it an offensive foul. Whatever you want to call it, there are multiple fouls there. And by the way, intention. Let's get that straight, okay? That wasn't done by accident. That wasn't done, oh, my Lord. No. That was done by design. And they thought they would get away with it. But the problem is the Dolphins have got the guy on the other side that said, no, dude. No. Remember, I've been there for 15 years. I know all these tricks, okay? All right, Felix, so go put back your tricks in your bag. I just lost like 98% of you right now. Okay? Most of you, unless you watch Boomerang and you're young, how the hell are you going to know who Felix the Cat is? Damn it, X.
Super important game. Patriots 3-3 when they have to play without a bye.
Oh yeah, yeah.
27-7 with.
And this-
That's the difference of 500 and an 800 winning percentage.
And this is not
Also,
and this is not a good and this is not the same Patriot team of the past. So-
very interesting, the leading rusher of the NFL, Henry, is coming to town.
Yeah.
And another coach
Yeah, but
that knows Patriots.
Yeah, but I know what they're going to do. They're going to pile the box, and then they'll force Tannehill, and Tannehill will. Oh, let me see. Tannehill will make a ton of mistakes.
You don't think the play action with that young receiver they got that I guess he tied the record or whatever of 50-yard touchdown catches, Randy Moss. Kid's got some skills.
Yeah, I know. But I think they'll just put
Eight in the box and stuff Henry and
they'll force Tannehill to beat him, and Tannehill's going to make a bunch of mistakes, and you'll see. It's gonna. I've seen this story before. I know what's going to happen.
you're not anticipating a
I know. I have no hope for it. But I don't really care about it at this point. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the Dolphins.
My point is, if the fact that we knocked them down and made them play this extra game, and if Tennessee goes in there and beats them, that's because of us. It originates back to us being the source,
Yeah,
you know?
that's fine. But I don't take any solace in them winning next week or losing. I'm done already.
I want to
The-
see it.
The Dolphins did what
We
they
did.
The Dolphins did what they were supposed to do. I know what Ryan's going to do next week. I can already see it. So I'm not.
I just hope you're wrong, man. I would love to see the Patriots and us be the fact
I'm
that
not gonna- I'm not
people
gonna-
went 2 weeks in a row and they lost in New England. That would be a nice way for this to end.
Yeah, I'm not going to build myself up for that. Emilio Nunez says, "Good morning, boys, from Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn, step by step."
Question: Niagara Falls, is he on the Canadian side or the U.S. side?
He says Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay, all right.
Go Gators! Victory Monday, folks. This is the best win of the year by far, and one of the best in years. It may be the best in forever because of what it means, what I just talked about. That's why. If this guy turns out to be the coach, finally, and you get another good season next year, and it gets better, you're going to remember this is the game. This was the moment that the Dolphin franchise turned around. Yesterday was the watershed moment. Now, they got to build on this. Obviously, you go next year and win 2 games, and you're unorganized, and there's penalties, and you go Gase-like in your second year, then all of this means nothing. But this can mean something in a big-time way.
The Tankles would love that because then we could get the kid Lawrence from Clemson.
Yeah, no. I would hate that because it would mean nothing to me.
We don't want to see regression.
Because then
Yeah.
that means you don't have a coach. And so it doesn't matter what player you get. You know, you won't win anything. It doesn't matter. You can have a great player, but if you don't have coaches, I'm already tired of it. I know what it is. I watch Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and Pat Surtain and Sam Madison and Tim Bowens get old and leave. So I know what it's like. If you don't have a great coach, you're not going to be carried solely by players. You got to have coaches, man. And to me, you could get Trevor Lawrence all you want, dude. But if you don't have the coach, then Trevor Lawrence will be here and get killed like Andrew Luck did, and it's over. It's the same thing. You can have Andrew Luck, but if you don't have the organization, you'll lose him. Go Gator says, "I can see you." Oh, YouTube is working. Oh, that's when we were asking. Okay. Nico says, "Good morning, boys. In the name of the late, great Mad Dog, all I can say is, all right, Miami." Michael says, "Last Dolphins game of 2019. No matter what, I'm going to miss them. I bleed Dolphins 24/7, 365. Here's to a bright future. See you in Vegas." That's right, Michael. We'll see you in Vegas. Emilio says, "How about Coach Flo saying in the locker room, this is just the beginning. You can trust me on that." And you know what? I trust him now. Miami needs to suspend him before the league gets a chance. No tolerance whatsoever. Go Gators. There's nothing to suspend, my brother. They don't play till next year. So you might as well. First of all, she could be lying. You know what I mean? So we have to let the legal process kind of take its course here before anything. It's disturbing. If it's true, it sucks. It's disgusting. I now look at X differently now because I don't really tolerate that kind of stuff. I'm not really the guy that gives you a break on this. Sorry doesn't do anything for me on this. Yeah, I just want you to know that. So X now, I will view him differently now. Okay? I'm not the guy that is a mercenary, and I don't care what the human being is as long as he can play football for me. I'm just not that guy. Okay? If this is true, X has lost all respect in my eyes as a human being. It's just the way it is. I'm just not the guy that respects men that hit women or kids or animals. To me, there's no room for that at all. There's no need for that kind of behavior ever. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So that's the one thing that I will tell you, that with X, with me, you will notice that I am going to take a different slant on X from here on out. And I will not have a lot of patience with X from here on out if this is true. Because that's just the way it is with me. So you can't suspend him yet because we do have a legal system, and plenty of women have lied about these situations. So those are things that we just got to let it play out right now. Big O, the echo is horrible today. Okay, we were trying to fix the echo, but apparently we haven't fixed the echo. Big O makes me want to throw on that Dolphin shirt again. 5 wins, play me. Mark says, see you in April, Big O. John says, talk to Kyle. Let's see, from Tommy Rockers on Saturday. As of now, there are no reservations for the draft. First come, first serve. He didn't seem to know of the draft party there, though. He does, because we're going to have him on this week. So we are going to get Tommy on, and we'll talk about it, so he does know. A coach is harder to find than a quarterback. Amen to that. We can't have a QB leading at rushing unless you're Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. This is not the kind of season you measure those things for, dude. I mean, that's not important right now. What was important is to just try to win the game, period. George says, I agree, and I've agreed with you throughout this whole process this season. The wins here may just be landmark moments. We look back at the turning point of the franchise. Richard says, up until that challenge, I felt the Pats were getting some home cooking. 72 Fins logo says the Heat keeps winning. The Heat are back. Yeah, man, the Pacers and Sixers win. We'll get to that. I mean, I've talked about it over the weekend. If you didn't catch our Saturday and Sunday podcast, we did put them up, and we did talk about it. I got to talk about the championship games. I got a bunch of things that we want to talk about. Let's see. Big O, what player would you like for the Fins to take at 5? Rich, let me wait till I find out all the players that are declared, and then we'll figure it out. We've got ourselves a head coach, is what Flipside Fishing is saying. Adam Martin says, finally, not worried about who we draft in April. We have a coaching staff to coach them up and a solid front office. There you go. I like your thinking, sir. JIC says, how about them Dolphins? Coach Flores, 2019. That was a great video. You're right about that. It seems as if Tommy and Kyle were not communicating. Let's see. I wanted the Fins to tank because the Fins won in 2011 to not get the overall first pick, but you and Flores have won me over. Oh, I'm glad. What is it? Mono F100 or 1005 holds. Damn, it's a long-ass name, but I'm glad we convinced you. Let's see. Well, the police report said there were bruises on her. That's why I said, but you're right. Yeah, no, I know. Go Gator. Listen, it's probably true, unfortunately. I'm just saying there are those instances where the women do lie about it, but it's probably true, and it's probably really bad news now for the Dolphins. The Miami Heat are number 2 in the NBA power rankings. Yeah, they've got the 3rd best record, number 2 power rankings, number 1 in 3-point field goal percentage. I mean, it's amazing. Big O, do you bring back Fitz? Yes, you try. Yes, you definitely bring back Fitz. Well, I think he's under contract anyways. But, yes, you bring him back, and then you draft a young guy, and you develop the young guys behind him. Yes, no doubt. For sure. I would love to bring back Fitz. I told you guys I wasn't really worried or concerned about Fitz. I didn't think it was such an important thing. But, man, was I wrong on that, man. It has been so important to so many things at so many levels. He's not the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land or anything like that. But in this developmental process, he's priceless. I never even imagined that he would be priceless, but, dude.
He fits the role perfect.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah. So it's been impressive, I got to say. And so, yeah, I would definitely bring him back. You got to bring him back. No doubt in my mind. You got to bring him back. Hey, we're going to have Chris Perkins at the top of the hour. He's going to join us at noon. At 1, Chad Leistico is going to join us. He covers Nate Stanley for the Iowa Hawkeyes, the quarterback. And he's coming into the draft. And remember, we're focusing in on all the quarterbacks that are coming into the draft, and we're trying to get the different beat writers. Last week we did Tua, Joe Burrow, Jake Fromm, and Justin Herbert. And let me tell you, all 4 are excellent interviews. The Herbert one, you can go back and listen to it. After you hear it, if there was any part of you that wanted Herbert, you probably won't after that interview. The Tua one was really insightful. Burrow one was great. The Fromm one, too. This is good stuff for you Dolphin fans that want to find out more about these quarterbacks. So Nate Stanley's another guy that has NFL talent. He has an NFL arm, okay? And this is a kid that a lot of teams are going to be considering probably, I would say, early third day. 4th round, 5th round is probably where Nate Stanley is going to go. And he's a guy that I think he's a senior, I believe. And he might be going to the Senior Bowl, actually. So we will have at 1 o'clock, Chad's going to join us from the Des Moines Register and the Iowa City Press. He covers the Hawkeyes, and he's covered Nate Stanley's career. Nate's got some impressive stats, by the way. 27-12 as a starter, 3-0 in bowl games, 12-0 in non-conference games. He also beat Ohio State. 16-5 at home. So this is a guy that, put together a pretty solid resume and has NFL talent. Guaranteed. Has a little bit of the accuracy thing that might drive you crazy at times. But he has played well in big moments, too. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's really simple. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program as we take you, of course. We go till, I would say, about 3 o'clock today. We're going to have a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to have Chris Perkins at noon. We're going to have Chad Leistico at 1 o'clock to talk a little Nate Stanley. Chris Greer and Brian Flores are going to be holding press conferences today at 2 o'clock. We are going to air those press conferences, and then we are going to break everything down that they talk about here on the show. So there might be a lot of things, and now with the X News, that's also stuff that we're going to unfortunately I hate that we're going to talk about this crap. But anyway, so we got to talk about that. Andy Behrens, a little fantasy basketball after all of that. He's scheduled for 2:30, but something tells me we're gonna have to ask Andy to go back a little bit on fantasy basketball, because this Chris Greer and Brian Flores press conference plus my reactions, I think will take us past 2:30. That's a guess, okay? Since we've got all that going on. I felt like Herbert was all negative, never talked about anything positive he does, was a little disappointed. Well, there are things about him that, the maturity, those are issues with Herbert, man. And those are things that, go look at the video of Drew Lock on the sidelines this weekend. That's not really how you want your quarterback acting, dude. Anyway, review every press conference with Fitz. You know what he always does? He compliments one of his team members. Yeah, yep. Yeah, no, it's ultimate class. He's a good dude. But I just kind of looked at it like just because he's not special or anything in any way of a quarterback, not a guy that's going to, get you to the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs and beat. That's not what I see in Fitz. And that's what I was thinking, like, okay, it's not a big deal. It's not anything. But I didn't look at it the right way. And it's been priceless. The run has been priceless with him. And you got to give him a ton of credit. The big important question is, do we pick Tua if he falls to us in the first round? That's he'll fall to you because he'll be there in number 5. Question is, do you take an injured Tua? You guys know how I feel about that. I'm not really a fan of taking injured quarterbacks. It's just not a thing that I like. And he's an injury-prone guy. Now, if you do, like I said, make sure you take that second quarterback then. Go all in. Okay? Get Anthony Gordon. Get Jordan Love. Nate Stanley. Something. Jacob Eason. Take somebody in that second, third rounds that is kind of a project quarterback too. That's what I would do if I take Tua who's injured. Okay? That's where I would go in that direction. But I would be very, very wary of drafting Tua early. He's just too injury prone, man. We're talking 4 lower body injuries in less than 2. 4 operations in less than 2 years. I just can't trust the kid. Exceptional passer, but I just cannot trust the kid. Let's see. Lakeisha Smith says, good morning, Big O. Good morning, Lakeisha. Hello. Hello to everybody out there. And on behalf of Bill and myself, thank you very much, of course, for your amazing support. And by the way, thank you for another record weekend on downloads, because it has been, stuff that we're doing is unheard of right now for us. And this is crazy to think that we are growing as fast as we're growing. Okay? So we'll see about that. And I love it.
Have you looked at the list for the East-West?
Yeah, why?
Because they got them signed. There's 3 quarterbacks for the East. Jordan Teamu from Mississippi.
Yes.
David Blau. Is that the kid? Is he the brother to the kid in
David
Detroit?
Blau. That's last year's. You're looking at last year.
Says 20.
David Blau?
Says 20.
No, but it's David Blau.
That's what it says. January 18, 20.
But David Blau is not. No, dude, this is last year's.
Oh, so they haven't updated.
No, they haven't.
No, but you see at the top it says
118, but it doesn't.
20.
Huh?
It says 20 on it.
No, it doesn't, dude. No, it doesn't, bro. That's just a website. That's not it. Anyway, listen, if you guys want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program.
I'm going to try something on YouTube, because when I recorded on mine, testing, it worked. I'm going to try something. I'm going to shut it down and reset it on YouTube, see if it grabs.
All right, so you just heard we're going to shut down YouTube and turn it back on again and see if the echo is gone, and tell us on the chat board if the echo is gone once we re-sign here. Why don't we do this? Let's take a quick break, and that way we get a quick break in. And we do want to remind you that the National Horse Players Championship qualifier comes to Hialeah Park January 12th, folks. And we're going to be broadcasting live that morning there, and then we are going to take off to the East West Shrine right after. 10,000 will be awarded on site, 5,000 to first place. All right. Second place, 2,500. Third place, 1,500. Fourth place, 1,000. And the grand prize gets an NHC seat in the Las Vegas Finals on February 7th through the 9th at Bally's. All right, so go to hialeahpark.com. Find out more how you can join the National Horse Players Championship qualifier. Let's take a quick break. We'll reset here on YouTube, back for hour number 2. Let's get ready here on The Big O Show.